Nourishing midweek lunch hour conversation with Spokane's newsmakers, thought leaders, and popular entertainers. Welcome to Spokane Talks Live.
Welcome. I'm Kent Adams, your host of Spokane Talks Live. It's the first Wednesday, literally the first Wednesday in the first day of June. And so that means Peyton Sheeler will be here to talk about Visit Spokane. And the list she sent ahead of time is a very long one, but this is a fun time of the year. We're going to talk about what's old is new again. And I'm not referring to the fellow we'll have here, but maybe it applies to him too. But if you remember back the old radio days, you're going to enjoy that. We have a special announcement to make about a new position created at the Spokane Association of Realtors, and that guest is here today. We'll be talking with Don Morgan. We'll be looking at a puppy or a dog or a little kitty. We never know until they show up here at Spokane Talks Live. We'll be right back.
For the Inland Northwest most comprehensive sports report, think outside the porch with spokesman.com. 99 cents for the first month, you'll enjoy unlimited digital access to the news and sports news that affect you most. From EWU to WSU, from Northwest Preps all the way to the Seahawks, we're the local authority that makes sports in the Inland Northwest different than the rest, better than the rest. On your phone, on your desktop, and on your tablet. Subscribe to the digital experience with spokesman.com.
My name is Randy James. I'm the founder and director of the Institute of Science and Technology at North Central High School. Kids are far more capable than we ever give them credit. We have $1 million worth of equipment, and we let them use it. And you give them a place to play and do science for real. Instead of having to outsource engineers and scientists and mathematicians, we have kids right here. It takes a whole community to raise children. It really does. STC huge difference. I'm Randy James, and STCU is here for good.
Say it.
We are tracking breaking news in Spokane County where fire.
We're talking exclusive.
I want to be the survivor and someone that reaches out and helps other people.
Welcome back. Kent Adams, Spokane Talks Live. Peyton, this is the fun time of year, isn't it?
It really
is.
Yep.
I mean, and here as we do this live, and a lot of people will watch it later recorded, we're headed to like 80 degrees today.
I know, and just to get warmer over the weekend, it's great.
Yeah, I think I saw from the KHQ folks something like 90 or 95. Mm-hmm. But, you know, if they start paying them more, they might be accurate folks, but we'll see what happens.
Possibly, we'll see. You never know with Spokane weather.
No, I remember the first year, which will be 40 years this August, I came to Spokane to interview for a job. Mm-hmm. And actually the job was literally across the street from where we are now. It's the middle of August. I'm from the Los Angeles area, and guess what? It was raining. Oh. Now, we hardly get rain down there in April for April showers, much less August. So what is going on? And I think one of the first things is Art Fest.
Art Fest, yep, is happening this weekend. It'll be in Coeur d'Alene Park, which is located in Browns Addition.
Okay.
It starts on Friday and will go through Saturday.
Okay.
They have multiple vendors all showcasing kind of handmade goods, wood, glass, leather, that people can either just peruse or buy for themselves, and it all benefits the Northwest Museum of Arts and Culture.
Yep, which is just down the street there, right?
Right there, yep.
Yeah, great. Can we get there from here? With all the street construction?
You should be able to, yes, hopefully. You might have to take a few detours.
Yeah, but well, welcome to Spokane in the summertime.
Yes.
And in fact, we were talking the other day with the mayor and so forth, but how important it is that we go through this. We pass the street bond issue and those kinds of things, and yet sometimes we complain about having our streets fixed and we can't get there, but what's the alternative, is to keep having our cars bounce around.
Yep.
The Farm Chicks Antiques show? Tell me
Yes.
about that one.
This
Explain
is a great
yourself.
event. Have
Okay.
you been to it before?
No,
Not really?
no,
Okay.
never, yeah.
So if you're really into kind of vintage, antique, that shabby chic or upcycled items, this
Okay.
is the show to go to. It fills almost all of the Fair and Expo Center. It's huge. They have hundreds of different vendors, all kind of bringing their own vintage goods to the show that people can shop. And it's packed. It's very, very busy. It's a huge event. You can go either on Saturday or Sunday this weekend.
Okay.
They do save some items. Some of the vendors save items for Sunday. A lot of
Okay,
people,
okay.
Saturday is definitely the busier of the days. You want to get all
Sure.
the good stuff, but Sunday has some great stuff as well.
Now, how long has that been going on?
A long time. It
Okay.
started, the owner, she started it, I believe, in a barn a while ago. And then
A barn, not a bar.
A barn, yes.
Okay.
And then as it's grown, they've been able to move into the Fair and Expo Center, and now it's one of the biggest antique shows in the Northwest.
Wow, great. Felts Field Neighbor Day Open House. That's a mouthful to say.
Right.
I'm guessing it's out at Felts Field,
Felts
and it
Field,
includes
yes.
aviation, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. Felts Field is kind of located in the Millwood area if
Yep.
people haven't been out there before. Really kind of a
Yeah.
cool little airport out there
It
if you
is,
haven't
it is.
been. So for Neighbor Day, they will have 40 different antique, classic, and commercial aircraft that people can kind of view and tour. And I'm pretty sure they let you in them kind of, see the cockpits and all
Right,
that.
right.
And then they also will have food trucks on site, so you can, maybe stop there for lunch.
Always
and-
have to have food.
Right, and it's completely free to attend. So really great for the families to be able to just come and check out.
That's really what's so good about Spokane is that we have a lot of great things in terms of the Broadway series and others that cost a few dollars to go to, but it's a lot cheaper than going to New York.
Exactly.
Or
Yep.
whatever. But we have an awful lot of free things that you really don't have to go and spend. Give up your first child,
Right.
firstborn, to be able to go to. And when you start having mom, dad, or just mom and kids, you can add up. I mean, going to a movie or something like that can cost a
Right.
significant amount of dollars, but
Yep.
these things are fun to do. And seeing the airplanes, what a great, the kids
Yeah.
will remember that.
Exactly.
you
Yeah, it's
know.
kind of educational and not something you get to do all the time.
Yep,
So.
yep. A few music festivals coming up,
Yeah, both this weekend and
and you're
next
singing
weekend.
all of them, right?
No, that would
okay.
that would drive attendance down.
Oh,
I think.
okay.
Yeah,
We don't
Wouldn't
wanna
be
do
so
that.
good.
Yeah.
No, Volume will be this weekend. That's an event that's put on by the Inlander.
Okay.
It's I believe in its third or fourth year, and they have 100 different bands playing at 10 different venues. And, they range in all different genres from country to more of the hip hop. If you want to see a full list, you can go to the Inlander's website, and they have some information about that there. And then Elk Fest is next weekend in Brown's Edition.
Okay.
And same thing, a lot of different genres, not quite as many bands, but it's still a big music festival. Just a fun way to kind of check out some local bands.
And some of these bands actually play music that you can sing along and you can understand the words, right?
Yes.
I just,
Yes, they do.
What I'm asking for is, can old folks like me go to them?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
they really do try and bring in a wide range. I would research them beforehand to make sure, you go to the show that you
Yeah,
want to
because
hit.
I want to go to
but
the hip hop ones for sure.
You never know. You might find a new genre of music you like.
Might? Okay, we'll need to talk about that one. Okay, that's kind of fun. Farmers markets. This is the time of year that the crops are coming up
Mm-hmm.
and the goodies are out there in all kinds of places. I've seen, Kendall Yards and a number
Kendall
of
Yards, yep.
Liberty Lake. Where else? I mean,
Yeah, Kendall Yards is on Wednesdays. They have the Millwood Farmers Market that's also on Wednesdays.
Okay.
South Perry has a really great one. It's called the Thursday Market. Obviously happens on Thursdays.
I was going to say that. I could even figure that one out.
Yep, Liberty Lake is on Saturdays, and there's a few other ones. There's a Spokane Farmers Market, Emerson Garfield, I believe Cheney has one.
Okay.
They're just all over the place. Like you said, we're surrounded by a region that produces great crops, obviously, and so we have a lot of opportunities to get some local produce. So if you visit Spokane, we actually have a page on our website that specifically lists all of the farmers markets. so people
I
can get
I
information
forget
there.
that, and people younger than me won't. But going to the website just makes so much sense because all of these things are listed there, right?
Yep.
And links to them and so forth. So
Yep, links, and then once you're on the actual farmers market website, A lot of them that list all of their vendors. So if you're looking for something in particular, it's easier to find it that way than to show up and maybe be disappointed if they don't have exactly what you want.
Right. Well, is this a mix of folks that this is their job, and the others kind of the country farmer who do this on the side because they love to grow crops and things?
Yeah, I believe so. From the ones I visited, it's definitely a mix.
A mix,
Yeah.
Okay. Anything happening at Riverfront Park? Other than construction soon?
Right, yeah, that's the groundbreaking there is starting soon. But for this summer, they have the outdoor movie series is back with Pemco. For June, they will be showing Guardians of the Galaxy, The Sandlot, and Star Wars The Force Awakens. For all of the shows, seating opens at 7 p.m., and they actually provide some entertainment before the movie. They have Spokane Aerial Arts is normally there. Sometimes they'll have, jugglers and food trucks and just kind of fun things to experience while you're waiting for the movie to start.
Yeah.
And then the movie generally starts at dusk.
Speaking of Sandlot, we have the Spokane Indians starting pretty soon too.
Spokane
A couple
Indians,
weeks, right?
Yep, couple weeks. Their first home game is June 17th.
Okay.
And they'll have a few games throughout the end of June and then obviously continuing throughout the summer. Avista Stadium's great. The Indians
They
it's
really
always
have
fun to
been
watch.
improving the Avista Stadium, haven't they, over the years?
They have, yeah. It's a really nice facility to go and watch a baseball game. And then I always tell people to make sure they check the promotional schedule online too for fireworks and
dollar
hot dog night.
Yep.
Exactly, anything like that. So that way it kind of just adds to the experience.
Yeah. And what I like about the Spokane Indians is that they really work on the entertainment. It's not just baseball, but there are other things going on for the kids, because sometimes they get a little anxious toward the seventh or eighth inning.
Yep.
And, you know what I mean? Those kinds of things. So it really is a family experience, isn't
True.
it?
Yep.
Yeah, great. Then there's something downtown this summer, something to do with basketball.
Yeah, just
What
that
is that?
small little event called
Yeah.
Hoop Fest. No, the world's largest 3-on-3 basketball tournament will be in the last weekend
And catch
of
that,
June.
folks, if you haven't before. It's the world's largest, not just in the U.S. or in the state.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. They have about 7,000 teams. It covers 42 city blocks. And so for anyone who's been in Spokane, they know it kind of shuts down downtown for that weekend.
Yes, it does.
But,
Yes, it does.
But it's great. I mean, we love having all the visitors here and the locals and everybody just in our downtown experiencing our city. And there's also some, shopping and food that you can check out. They're really trying to make it an event, not just something to go and watch people play basketball.
What does something like Hoop Fest do for our economy?
It's a great community resume builder, and it really does bring in some economic impact. If you think about all the people who are staying in town that weekend, the hotels are almost always full, in Spokane Valley, sometimes even to Coeur d'Alene. I mean, it's a huge weekend for us. All those people have to eat, they have to get gas and everything like that. So everything. So it's a really great for our economy.
It's probably a great time to visit our city. The weather can be crazy, but usually it's not a problem. And the vibrancy downtown is so compelling that I'm guessing that we pick up residents from that who say that's where I want to live at some point too.
Yeah, we've done research before. I mean, a lot of times people who come here to visit, they come back and then they want to come back again, and so many times to where they do decide to live here because they love it.
Absolutely. Okay, did we miss anything?
Well, there's obviously a lot more going on. I mean, these were kind of the big events coming up, but if you head to our events calendar on visitspokane.com, people can find more info.
And that's
there.
the key. Visitspokane.com.
Yep.
Pretty easy to remember. Most of us can do that, right?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you. And we'll see you in about 4 weeks or so, right?
Sounds good. Yes.
All right. Thank you. Peyton Sheeler from Visit Spokane. We'll be back right after this.
See you tomorrow night, and thanks again for taking care of the painting.
I got this.
Bye.
and caring folks. They take pride in their windows, sliding doors, and blinds. So when it comes to your home, call them direct at 509-456-5880. That's Window World of Spokane and Coeur d'Alene. And if you tell them Kent sent me, they'll give you 5% off a 5-window installation. Call them today at 456-5880.
Hi, this is Tom Sawyer of Tom Sawyer Country Coffee, and we're very excited to start our first year at our new location just on the north side of Kendall Yards. Come and enjoy a great cup of coffee and see the display of coffee memorabilia dating back to the 1800s. Or pick up a pound of our freshly roasted coffees to make at home. We're open Monday through Saturday starting March 5th, or find us at TomSawyerCountryCoffee.com. Come watch us perk up when you walk in.
Welcome back, Kent Adams. And I mentioned that we were going to have a little breaking news today, and we were also going to talk about what's old is new again. And I wasn't directly referring to my guest, but it does apply. What's old is new again. Tom Reed, who spends time in Sun Valley, Palm Springs area, and Spokane once in a while, right?
Absolutely.
How are you?
I'm very well, Kent, and happy to be here because remembering back to your start when you and Tom MacArthur came to me and you started the business talks on KTW, 6:30 a.m. in Spokane.
Right.
We were live from a downtown restaurant.
Oh, but by the way, for those of you listening right now, the voice you hear started at about age 12.
I was in diapers.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And today, because of our friendship, I have a bulletin which we have not even released on our stations yet, and that is, as of 8:20 this morning, the Federal Communications Commission has granted the new KFIO 1050 AM 25,000 watts, which will be one of Spokane's newest radio stations.
It's the newest, but it's also one of the oldest.
It is indeed.
In so many ways. Now, we're going to have to explain this because you keep switching seats here, and it's like, who's on first, what's on second? We could do that routine and probably get by with it. Explain it. I don't know how else to start, but explain it, Tom, because you own several stations, AM and FM here in the Spokane area, and Moses Lakes and Tri-Cities and Yakima.
That's our American Christian Network,
right? Right.
But Kent, the thing that's interesting about KFIO 1050 AM is that Melinda and I started
That's your wife.
station. That's
right.
My redheaded pageant wife,
okay,
former Mrs. Washington. We started
always having to put a plug in,
of course. We started the 1050 AM station in Spokane back in the 80s.
Okay.
Because of FC.
Can you remember that that far?
Vaguely.
Okay.
Vaguely. As I say, we were just out of diapers.
Yeah.
And then because of FCC regulations at the time and other stations we were building, they couldn't overlap.
Okay.
And so we had to divest ourselves of the 1050.
Right.
And it's gone through I don't know how many different ownerships.
Right.
But now it is coming back home again.
Okay.
And we are returning the 1050 AM to its original site and basically original programming, as it will be part of our inspirational network. But then we were trying to think call letters.
Okay.
Now, we could have used KSPO, AM and FM.
Yes. Okay.
But that would be confusing because someone would say, well, I'm already on KSPO, FM 106.5.
Right.
So Melinda and I thought, what would be a unique call letter for Spokane? And because of our work with the Northwest Pioneer Broadcasters, I thought, what are the call letters of the very first broadcasting station in Spokane?
Right.
K.
And only you have been around long enough to remember what that is, right?
I studied it in history class.
Oh, yeah, right.
And it started at North Central High School. And it started in 1923. And it was owned by the North Central School District.
Right.
And the story is that there was another, well before our time, high school in Spokane at the time, and they were sort of jealous. I mean, how come North Central gets this radio station? And the kids were on the air. They formed a radio club, and, it was quite a deal,
right.
1920s. So the school board went to the instructor who actually built the station and started the radio class and said, I'm not so sure that the school district wants to own this. And he said, I'll buy it.
Oh,
So he
okay.
bought KFIO, and as far as we know, those were the original call letters from day one.
Wow.
He moved to downtown Spokane, and the thing that is so fascinating about that, we're bringing back those original call letters.
Yes.
Spokane's first station, they should be here.
Yeah.
So those will be the call letters on the new 10:50 a.m., which we hope to get on the air sometime this summer.
All right. So now explain to the folks, although we cover the entire world, of course, on both YouTube and our live stream. But what are the stations in our area that you own?
The stations that we own in the Spokane area will be actually, and that's another major announcement today.
Of course.
KTW 6:30 a.m.
Right.
Which is the original Cousin in the Valley station, which many people remember.
Yes.
Art McKelvey, who was at KHQ radio and TV years ago. Great fella. Then the new news is that we have just been granted 96.5 FM, and that's going to be KTW FM.
Okay.
And that is going to premiere this coming Sunday at 2 o'clock.
Okay.
And we're going to honor Keith. Toronto is listening. Hi, Keith. He worked at KFIO. Hope I'm doing okay, Keith. The thing that is, I think, very important is our veterans.
Yes.
And D-Day is Monday, officially.
That's right.
June 6, 1944.
Yeah.
So
originally supposed to be the 5th.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so we are starting on the 5th at 2 o'clock. And what you will hear in our dedicatory program will be the thing that actually our grandparents heard on that D-Day.
Oh, wow.
We're going to have interruption of Bob Trout
of a regular
coming in and saying,
program.
we interrupt our regular programming. We have just heard from the German radio, da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely fascinating.
Well, Tom, I want to take a quick break here, and when we come back, you brought some show and tell things, and we get to keep these, of course. We keep everything that comes in. We toss the people out.
Well, I don't know. The young lady left.
Well, she saw us, Tom. We're going to take a quick break. We'll come back and talk about this, and then I think we'll ask that other Tom to join us, too.
Absolutely.
Okay? All right, we'll be back right after this.
Nature has its own power. We harness that power and transform it into clean, reliable energy.
Welcome back, Kent Adams, and I'm at a table of Toms. Okay,
you're outnumbered.
I am always outnumbered. With just one of you, I'm outnumbered. I'm going to introduce Tom MacArthur and Tom Reed. Keep this all straight here. Mentioned Tom, and Tom and I started the business talks a number of years ago, 3.5 years ago, I think, if that's right, on your station. That was kind of fun because we did something that was unique for Spokane at that time, had been done in the past, it's been done other places, and that is we did our live show every Wednesday at the Scratch Restaurant. Of course, we had to eat afterwards at 12:30 on Wednesdays. And so good to have you back, Tom. It's just about 12:30. So are we ready to go on? No.
I'm ready if you are.
Okay.
I want to interject one point of compliment to both of you. I was absolutely amazed.
Are you reading what I said for you to say?
Yes, I have it right here.
Okay.
When you and Tom came to me and said you wanted to do this business talks, it fit in with what we were doing on KTW 630. But I had no idea of the level of guests that you got for that program.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Stacy from, the Spokesman Review, he doesn't appear on radio talk shows or TV talk shows.
He does on ours.
And you had really guest after guest after guest that were really outstanding. And frankly, I was surprised. In fact, I think I asked you, how do you get those guests?
We blackmail them. It's called blackmail. It works.
We show them the pictures.
Yeah. I was telling staff this last week that I've been told that kind of thing about our programs these days by folks, including the one person I can really remember was Paul Reed, who is the publisher of the Journal of Business.
Right.
And because I asked him straight out, have you been listening? Have you been, keeping up with what's going on and so forth? And he said, yes. And you still amaze me that you have the guests coming in. And so I think it comes back to the fact that what we try to do then and we try to do now is to have good conversations with people. And you don't see a lot of local discussion anymore. Yes, on sports, and I think of ESPN 700 here in town and so forth, and AM 920. You've got a couple of afternoon, evening folks that talk about politics and so forth. And then the rest of the day, for a little bit of drive time in the morning, the rest of the day around here is all brought in by satellite.
You're right. And
so we don't talk about community things anymore.
What you're doing streaming and what we do on KTW 630 and starting Sunday, also FM 96.5.
Got to get the plug in, doesn't he?
We have more locally produced programs, I think, than all the other stations put together, as you've just pointed out.
Yeah.
Local people producing local programs talking about things of interest. And that's the way we started out. We're talking about a little nostalgia. This is an early RCA replica of a ribbon microphone. MBS stands for Mutual Broadcasting System, which during the war, KFIO was the Mutual Donley affiliate for Spokane. There were only 4 stations during the war. You had KHQ was NBC, 590. You had KXLY, CBS 920, and you had KGA, which was ABC, and you had KFIO, which was Mutual Don Lee. The Lone Ranger and all those great programs were on KFIO. But you asked me earlier about the stations that we have in Spokane. The second one is...
I'm going to have to write this down. Do I write it in pencil or in ink?
Notes. Tom's going to ask a test afterward.
Okay.
KSPO, 106.5 FM, which we, again, put on the air as a new station in Spokane. And it is our lead keystone station, so to speak, flagship for our American Christian Network. And we have also KYAK 930 in Yakima, KGDN 101.3 in Tri-Cities, and then we have the big 50,000-watt giant on 810 KTBI in Central Washington and KTAC in Central Washington. So we blanket Eastern Washington and Northern Idaho, and with 25,000 watts on 1050 coming up hopefully this summer, along with our friends at 920 KXLY, we will be the most powerful
I was going to say,
station.
Most of them are at 10,000 or less, except for a couple of exceptions.
And many, are 5,000. In fact, when we first put the 1050 on in the 80s, the maximum power you could have was 5,000 watts on that frequency. So, I was surprised, frankly, that in this day and age, the bands are pretty full.
Yes.
And I was surprised when Ben Dawson, our consulting engineer, said we can go to 25,000 watts.
All right.
And
knowing you took advantage of it.
Here's the approval. Came in this morning. You're the first to know.
All right. Well, we love breaking news here. We often beat KHQ in the Spokesman Review.
Little humor there.
And the reason for the humor is the station manager for KHQ is in the room right now.
Well, and you
okay?
and I worked for KHQ.
Yeah.
I remember KHQ.
I just was in sales, though.
Oh.
Okay? I was not downstairs in the new building where all the talent is. Okay?
Well, it was a fascinating day when KHQ had radio as well
Yes.
as the TV. And I remember they were NBC from early days. The history of KHQ is interesting because Louis Wasmer came over from Seattle, we're talking the 20s now, and literally planted in the ground and said to the Federal Radio Commission by 28, I want a license for this in Spokane. And he got a superb frequency, which was 590. And owned both KGA and KHQ.
Wow.
In the early 40s, divestiture came along, the government, and he sold KHQ to the Coles family.
Yeah.
And it's one of our better AM stations all these years in Spokane. But it was funny because they ran NBC monitors, you may remember, and I'll move quickly. And TV signed on about 7 o'clock on a Saturday morning, and so you'd sign on the AM. Hit NBC, and you'd run around the corner of the TV booth and say, good morning, this is Channel 6 in Spokane.
Yeah. Gee. Oh, there are a lot of stories. We're going to have you back, and some of them we may have to bleep out, but we'll get there when we do. Tom MacArthur.
Sir.
You and I have known each other for some years.
We'll
go back how many? You've been working on a contract basis for about 5 years with the Spokane Association of Realtors.
I have.
Doing communications and so forth, bringing them into the 21st century and all of that. There's something new to announce, isn't there?
This is just a day of breaking news here
Yes,
on
it
STO.
is. Yes, it is. All communications kinds of things.
Well, you'll recall not quite a decade ago the recession that hit our country, and Spokane is included in
Yes.
that wave as it came across our land. The realtors were a group of about 3,000 folks, and they lost more than a third of that membership when the recession hit because people just weren't moving properties like they used to. But now that that wave has passed us and the mood is much better in Spokane, they were realizing that they needed to readjust their frequency, if you will, with their three constituencies. Their members, first of all, with political leaders in our community, second of all, and third with the general public to get an understanding of what the value is to be a realtor as opposed to just being a real estate agent. And so Rob Higgins, former mayor pro tem of our good city, had been kind of twisting my arm over the last few months, suggesting
That's
things.
why it was in a sling.
That's okay. Not quite a cast, but yes. Good-naturedly, of course. And yesterday we came to the agreement that this was something that made sense for me and made sense for them. And so July 1st, I start as public affairs director, and that's the first time the organization has had such a person helping tell its story.
All right, great. And so we're gonna see you quite often.
I hope so. I hope the
Come in
welcome mat remains out.
Keep us posted because the whole real estate industry is so important in Spokane. It really leads the way and gives us a lot of indicators of how we're doing.
Well,
right
we all
now.
need a place to live,
Yeah.
and about 65% of us choose to have our own home.
Okay.
And that builds wealth in our community. It ties us to our schools. It really does a lot of systemic things in our society that are good. That we all value as good things. And so when you think of just the small piece that a realtor plays, the bigger piece is we all have a better community as a result.
And Tom is one of the best PR people I've ever met. He does PR work for ACN. And I mean this seriously. You sit down with Tom and you think you've got some good ideas, and all of a sudden he's just like that. And I think, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
He is absolutely amazing.
We are recording this, are we?
Yeah,
I hope so.
That's because you and I are old. 15 years younger does help, okay? All right, hey, we gotta take a break. Tom, thank you. We could say this is the Tom Tom show, but
yes,
that probably is not politically correct. But anyway, not that I'm ever politically correct.
And if I might just say
Yes.
to both of you gentlemen, thank you for keeping local conversation on the air in Spokane.
Well, thank you.
It makes a big difference.
All right. You ought to listen once in a while.
And
I'm just kidding.
And local ownership.
And local ownership, too.
All right. Well, thank you. Tom, thank you very much. We're going to talk to a couple of interns right after this.
I'm Barbara Mueller.
And I'm Marty Mueller. We have gotten some amazing opportunities to design and build IMAX cameras that were going to go on the space station. We came up with a mechanism that we poured a year into, and we had to start over. The failure resulted in a camera that we got an Academy Award for.
The first shot, when you see Earth from our camera, there is no other moment like it.
Wouldn't have happened without that failure.
So how do you give a kid or even an adult
laboratory for education and fun.
The cooperation amongst people is the most important thing that we have. And STCU is doing that, and I hope that we're doing that too.
STCU.
Here for good.
Snoring can disrupt marriages and cause serious health problems. Call Sleep Better Northwest first, the experts in dental sleep medicine. Their medically approved, custom-fit oral appliances will have both you and your partner sleeping better and being more productive throughout your day. Don't wait. Snoring and sleep apnea can signal potential strokes or heart attacks. For more information, visit needbettersleepnow.com and download our health guide today. Sleep Better Northwest, the experts in dental sleep medicine.
See you tomorrow night, and thanks again for taking care of the painting.
I got this.
Bye.
Weekends are made.
Welcome back to Spokane Talks Live. I'm Kent Adams, your host. And I always love it when we have attorneys in the room, but we have interns. So I don't know if you're officially attorneys yet?
Not yet.
No.
Not yet. Okay. Well, then maybe we can talk you out of this. No, I'm kidding. Like we need more attorneys. Well, no, we won't go there. Two interns, Ashley Cummings.
Cummins, yep.
Cummins, okay. And Haywood Woody.
Yep.
Horn, right?
Yes.
Now, you both went to Gonzaga?
We still go to Gonzaga.
You still go to, okay.
Yep.
How much longer do you have there?
1 year.
1 year. But who's counting?
No, yeah, right.
1 year.
Counting since day one.
Yeah, okay. Let me first ask, are you enjoying Gonzaga? Is it a good school? Are you learning a lot?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Why Gonzaga over anything else?
The location.
Okay. Are you a Spokane kid?
No, I'm from South Carolina.
Oh, okay.
I just moved up here for school, and I fell in love with the four seasons.
Yes,
and
yes.
It's not 120 degrees in the summer, so
okay,
it's always
and
positive.
102% humidity
Yeah,
and,
yeah,
and all of
exactly.
that. Well, good for you. How did you hear about Gonzaga?
It was the basketball team first got me interested in. First got me interested in.
They have
in
a
the
basketball
area.
team?
Yeah, I know. It's surprising.
I thought it was their football team that. Okay. So that really did pique your interest.
And I really want to get out of the southeast, and I mean, there's not many further places you can go than Spokane.
Yeah, and honestly, my wife and I have talked a lot recently about you start looking across the country and the weather. You go towards California and you talk about the drought down there, and then you start in Colorado and go east and tornadoes and thunderstorms and so forth, and we look at each other going, the Pacific Northwest is kind of nice. We've really lucked out. Once in a while. Yeah, we have fires once in a while, and we're getting into that season. So what about you? Are you a Spokane native?
No, I grew up in Seattle, but I went to
On
undergrad.
the wet side?
On the west, yeah, the wet side, exactly.
Okay.
But I did my undergrad at WSU in Pullman, so Spokane wasn't too far of a move.
When you went to WSU, did you know you wanted to go into law?
No.
Oh, so what turned the things to law?
I wanted to be a social worker, actually. And so I majored in sociology and then got interested in criminal justice as well. And then kind of thought, well, if I'm an attorney, I can help people a little bit more and actually go into the courtroom and get things done rather than suggest things to be done. And so one thing led to another.
Now, you've just returned from somewhere.
Yes.
Okay. Where did you go?
I just got back from a 2-week trip to China.
What were you doing in China? Picking out China?
Yeah, oh, yes.
Yeah, okay.
That's exactly. Just 2 weeks to go pick out some China. No, I actually was invited to go to law school in Chongqing, China. It's,
really?
Inland, so southwest.
Okay.
And we spent 2 weeks there with a group of 5 GU law students, as well as law students from all around the world. So students from Russia, Japan, Australia. And we spent 2 weeks at the law school doing like cultural immersion classes, learning about their structure of government, and then exploring the city.
So what was it like to be with so many people speaking other languages and so forth? I mean, what was the barrier? Will you sit down with somebody and sometimes not even looking at them, you can't tell what language is going to come out of their mouth, right?
It was definitely interesting. Thankfully, a lot of people.
That's a safe word, interesting.
Yeah. No, it was great. Thankfully, a lot of people did know English, so we were able to kind of piece together conversations. But I did go into situations where I knew absolutely no Chinese and they knew no English, but we were able to use hand gestures, and thank God for Google Translate, because that came in handy a lot.
Yes.
So we were able to work it out.
So what's the one big takeaway from spending 2 weeks there?
Oh man, that's hard.
I try. Once in a while, I come up with a hard question.
Mostly, I think it was just great to see how universal things are across all cultures.
Okay.
So to be with so many different people from different countries and to be in China was a huge culture shock, but a lot of times we could all relate to just humor, or we'd find ourselves like laughing and no one really knows what the joke is, but you just kind of keep laughing and everyone's getting along. So I think just how universal things are was great to see.
Good. Woody, you've been here for how long now? 2 years?
2 years.
2 years,
Yes.
okay. So what's your takeaway now that you live here? I am assuming maybe that you're going to want to stay in this area? That happens a lot with Gonzaga law students, okay?
Yeah, I really want to stay here. Like I said, the weather is perfect, like great. I love being able to snowboard in the winter, play golf all the rest of the year, or and I don't like the big city, like huge cities like Seattle, but this is large
But
enough
you can
for
get
me.
to one if
exactly.
you want to.
I have the opportunity of doing pretty much everything.
Yeah.
So just having that is great.
Okay. So now tell me what it's like interning at a law firm, in this case, McNeese Wheeler. We know one of the names, Ryan McNeese, is an okay guy. Becky is much nicer out there. I'm saying that only because they'll be watching this, and I got to give Ryan a bad time. So what's it like working for those two?
Oh, it's great.
What have you learned?
A ton. Learned a lot about wills. I mean, going to class, you learn the stuff, but you never actually get to use
Hands-on.
it.
You're talking theory.
Yeah.
In school, right? Yeah.
And you don't really learn that stuff and how it's actually used in real life situations.
Right.
And just being able to actually take what you learned from school and put it into real practice is unbelievable.
Okay. And I think that's really so true in so many industries and jobs. You know, we learn the theory and so forth, but to get out there and actually practice it and see, you write a will as a draft and then you see the effect or the lack of effect, that you haven't covered something or you've missed something or you've really allowed yourself to change the lives of these people and the folks that will follow them and so forth. So when you graduate in a year, okay, where are you going to live?
Well, right now I'm thinking probably of staying in Spokane. Actually. Yeah, it's a great city.
You're not going back to the family?
I do. All my family lives on the west side, but there's just a lot of traffic and a lot of rain over there.
Yes,
so.
yes. Have you explained, Ashley, as you talk with family and friends over there, that the east side is not Bellevue, it's Spokane?
Yeah.
Do they understand that?
Yeah. Well, when you are in Seattle, you do have to clarify. That I mean.
Exactly.
East of the.
There's a story I've told many times being at a meeting over there, and they kept talking about the east side, and I said, from Spokane, I said, you mean Bellevue, don't you? And they all said, yeah, Bellevue. And then they realized I was from Spokane. So the other person and I from Spokane, I looked at her, I said, Kathy, I guess we're not needed. We can get up. And we literally started to get up and leave, which of course we weren't going to do. But then they realized their speak over there of the east side is Bellevue and Issaquah and all of that. So it was a rude awakening for some of them. But so in a year you'll be looking for a full-time attorney job, probably here in Spokane.
Yes.
And what area do you want to practice in?
I like personal injury, workers' compensation, some product liability maybe.
Okay.
I really do not like criminal law.
Okay.
I really do not like it, and I really don't like family law.
There's so many negatives.
Right,
with it.
exactly.
I mean, yeah. So what about you?
See, I agree. I'm not a fan of criminal law, but I am interested in family law.
Well, because of your social degree and interest in all that, makes sense. Great. Well, congratulations on on what you're doing in Gonzaga. I was almost going to congratulate you on picking McNeese Wheeler, but we won't go there. No, they are
awesome.
good
They're
people.
awesome.
They're our
Yeah.
attorney for SpokaneTalksOnline.com and so forth. I love to tease them, but what I love about them is they're just really super people. All the
Yes,
folks
they
that they
are.
send down here each week are great people, and so while I tease them, they are nice. So
A
so-
great environment to be an
yeah,
intern in.
yeah, and it's nice. And actually, in so many ways, because I'm so much older than you, I will tell you that you won't go through life always finding the positive environment that you have right now. Not everybody thinks ahead like they do and is involved in social media and in the community and so forth. So you really are interning at a great place. So thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, and then when we come back, we're going to talk with Don Morgan, and we'll be back after this.
You gotta eat. You gotta watch. You gotta
Welcome back, Kent Adams, Spokane Talks Live, and my guest, as he is almost every week. You took last week off.
I did.
You had an event with all of your staff involved, and so nobody came.
Nobody came. We left you alone.
But don't worry, we talked about you.
Good.
Okay? Yeah, hopefully we've erased that part of the tape. Don Morgan, Independent Wealth Connections. Yeah, tape. I'm getting from my producer in their tape. It's like film at 11.
It's okay. You introduced us to Spokane Talks Live.
Yeah?
Spokane Talks Online.
No, it's Spokane Talks Live is this program.
Oh, okay.
We're on Spokane Talks Online.
Online, okay.
Yeah, see?
Well, you've
not
changed your name
bad
up.
for an old
Yeah.
guy, you know? Okay, you're not too far behind. No, I'm just kidding.
I know, it's true.
Speaking of not too far behind, and folks that you come across a lot, I'm going to guess, in the last 8 to 10 years with recession and folks, the baby boomers getting older and finding that some of them have been let go because, you know, we pay up here, but I can get 2 newbies in for about the same price and
Or
work them
one robot.
Yeah, or one robot. We want to talk for the next couple minutes about going from corporate to solo.
Yeah.
And the myth sometimes that it's an easy
Be your own boss. Set
Yes.
your own hours.
Yes. And how's that
Sail the
working,
7
Kemp?
seas on
Yeah.
your own yacht. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not that easy. There's a great book out there by John Acuff called Quitter. And it talks about what he considers the right way to go from working for a W-2 paycheck somewhere to
Yes.
running your own business. And in John's
And if you run
world-
your own business, don't worry about the W-2 because you're not paying yourself for a while.
Well, and you may in fact be writing checks to your business.
Yeah, yes. Let's not
Well,
bring that up, okay?
there's
My wife
over-
might be watching.
Yeah, well, wives are funny that way.
Yeah.
My wife noticed 4 months into our first business that we kept writing checks to the business. And
Yeah.
she said, honey, your business plan said we'd be making $10,000 a month by April, and it's April.
Right. And then you responded, which April?
Well, no, what I said was, I think there may be some math errors in the plan.
Yeah, okay.
Over 50 million Americans today are either self-employed, own their own business, or work in what I call the Craigslist culture, where they're taking gig jobs.
Okay, yes.
Think Uber.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Some of them have multiple gigs that are going on at once. Others have a focus. They want to be wood carvers or website designers. But the common theme is that they don't have corporate America taking care of them. So they don't have HR to deal with. They don't have the corporate benefits package, things like health insurance. And because many of them didn't set out to own a business, they became what I call the accidental entrepreneur.
Yes.
They don't even speak the language of business, which is accounting. And so the words working capital, to them, money in the bank is money to spend.
Right.
The problem with that, when you own your own business, money doesn't come in every 1st and 15th like when you worked for someone.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
You've noticed that,
Yeah,
huh?
yeah.
Well,
boy, have I noticed that.
It's an interesting phenomena to work for yourself, to be out there. And so you not only have to have more savings, you have to have working capital. That's a magic word for the money that your company needs to run. That's not money for you
And
to
what
spend.
you think that is not going to be enough, so double it or
Triple
increase it. Yeah.
Yeah. And again, if you follow John Acuff's model, you go work in the industry you want to own your own business in for a while, get some experience, start small, take part-time gigs, evening gigs. Again, if the company just downsized you and you don't have a choice, maybe you jump in.
Right.
But watch your credit report. It's really critical. There's some great tools out there for free credit online.
Right.
Credit Sesame, Credit Karma. There's lots of good tools. But watch your credit because it matters.
Okay, yes.
And run your business like a business. Keep careful books. I know it's nobody except my accountant likes bookkeeping, but you got to do it.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, if you don't, it'll come
It'll catch
behind.
up with you. Yes, it will.
And
Yes.
it bites you where you sit, and it hurts.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. You've had that bite.
Mhm.
Yeah. The last thing that people forget is the tax man, because when your customer pays you, they don't hold any taxes out.
Yes.
And our tax system is designed to be what the IRS affectionately calls voluntary and pay as you go.
Right.
So when you get paid, you're supposed to pay the IRS their share.
Right. Well, and the IRS isn't the only tax you pay.
No. In fact, even though Washington doesn't have an income tax, we do have a variety of other taxes.
Oh, yes, we do.
And if you ignore them, and you can for a while, eventually the wheels go round and you get letters. And then if you ignore the letters,
you get phone calls.
And then
They get visits and
it gets ugly. So the best thing to do is to sit down with a reliable partner in the world of finance, get some advice, get a written plan together, and plan on spending more than you think you're going to spend, so have more savings than you think you need.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's so true.
Well, you've been there.
Oh, yes, I have. Yes, I have. Yeah.
I'm seeing the look of the animal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's like was it the deer in the headlights?
Yeah.
Yes. And then there's an animal, a cat. Yeah. Don, every time Don is here, for those of you who are watching, the act that follows Don is either a kitty or dog. And so we always find out at about this time with the people from Spokane that peer around the corner, and then I know, and today it's a cat.
A cat.
Okay, so we can get back now to talk about business.
Well, and this is the 21st century dilemma that all the policymakers are hiding from. Jobs are disappearing. W-2s are going away, and
Yes.
people are being compelled, in many cases, to go
More and more on contract, right?
Yeah. And if you're a contract employee, again, you don't have any of that corporate safety net.
Right.
And so our world is going to be different, and we have to armor ourselves with knowledge.
Well, and things like Social Security, what the company would pay their half, and you would have your half taken out, and that would be all taken care of. Now, on
You
a
get to pay
contract,
that.
you get to pay both.
Right. So right off the top, if you've got a $100,000 contract,
Okay.
you probably should take $25,000 of that for taxes, fees, and other expenses related to the business.
Okay. Yes.
I mean, if it's all earnings, which probably isn't the case, but let's say it's all earnings.
Okay.
The IRS is going to call that wages.
Yes.
They're going to want 15% for Social Security and probably another 25%. So now you're up to 40 grand out of that 100 that you're going to have to put in savings because the IRS is going to want it. Now, in the real world, working with a good accountant, we can probably bring that number down some. But the reality is you're going to pay taxes.
So who do you talk to? Who does the accidental entrepreneur, or the person who's really thinking about doing this, who do they talk to? Someone like you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Everything from your retirement plan to your health care package to your business plan. You need someone who's been there, and we've been there.
Okay.
And we work with business owners, helping them make these decisions. We don't do it all. We're going to connect them with a good law firm. We're going to connect them with a good accounting firm. That's why our last name is Connections.
Yes, and I pointed that out a lot. Independent Wealth Connections. It says so much. And what I'll just give a little plug here, because what I've learned from you over the last decade, 10 years, 8 years, something like that, is that Don and his crew are so well connected in the community that I've come to you a couple times with crazy ideas, and you've said, well, we need to pull in so-and-so and this person, and you've brought them in to the table to sit down, and we've chatted.
Right.
In some cases, we've said, no, it doesn't make sense, because you've brought the right people to the table. And I personally have very much appreciated that. But you do it for everybody.
We do it.
For the folks that, sign up with you and come in and talk, because, people go in wanting to make the widgets or provide this kind of service, and they're good at that.
Right.
They know how to do it. But beyond that, they can get into a lot of difficulty. I was going to say trouble, but difficulty, if they don't have the guidance from someone who can look from the outside and say, okay, stop for a minute. This might not be the best approach. Consider Plan B or C, at least consider it.
Absolutely. And there's so many good books to read on this subject, and there's a lot of advice to be had. But I start with someone like me that's a generalist, and we'll connect them with the specialists.
Yeah, right. Don, thank you very much.
As
and
always,
so how
Ken.
can people get in touch with you?
IndependentWealthConnections.com is our website.
It's that long one, isn't it? But it says what you do.
It says what we do. And our
a
phone number, 931-1088 in the 509 area code.
All right, great. Thank you very much. Good to
Yes,
see
sir.
you again.
Absolutely.
All right, and we're going to take a quick break, and we'll come back with a spotted little kitty right after this.
For the Inland Northwest's most comprehensive sports report, think outside the porch with Spokesman.com. For just 99 cents for the first month, you'll enjoy unlimited digital access to the news and sports news that affect you most. From EWU to WSU, from Northwest Preps all the way to the Seahawks, we're the local authority that makes sports in the Inland Northwest different than the rest. Better than the rest. On the phone, on your tablet. Subscribe to the digital experience with Spokesman.com.
My name's Randy James. I'm the founder and director of the Institute of Science and Technology at North Central High School. Kids are far more capable than we ever give them credit. We have $1 million worth of equipment, and we let them use it. You give them a place to play and do science for real.
Welcome back, Kent Adams, and you're joining us at a time that we're in the middle of updating our set. As you can tell, part of it is done. The part right behind me is not complete yet. And then behind the curtain, this is like Wizard of Oz. Behind the curtain, we're plugging in some things for some programs that we're going to record in the next few minutes, but it takes about 15 minutes for the devices to warm up. So welcome to live video and audio. Francine, how are you?
I'm great. I brought you a little distraction here.
Of course. We're always pleased to be distracted by Yoda.
This is Yoda.
Is that a he or she?
He's a little boy.
Okay. Hi.
He is available for adoption now at Spokane.
Okay.
And he's about 8 weeks old.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's just a baby boy.
Yes. So, did he come from California or one of the other spots to come in Spokane?
Yes, he did. And
which I don't know that a lot of people understand.
Don't let him go off.
Then we won't let him fall off.
Okay, thank you.
A lot of people don't understand that we take a lot in from other areas to find homes for them so that they don't have to, euthanasia
Right.
in other locations. And
It's pretty amazing, but there are little spots around the country where there's a shortage, actually, of stray dogs and cats in new homes.
Right.
And Spokane is one of those places.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I think a lot of our residents are spaying and neutering their own pets, and that's
Yes.
helping a lot. Well, what that
Which
means
they need to
is
do.
They
Yes.
absolutely need to do that. And what that means is that we can then have space to take in animals from other cities that are overpopulated and might have to euthanize.
Yes, yes.
So it's a wonderful program that we do. We do that with the ASPCA. We're partnered with them.
Great,
in
great.
transporting animals.
Sometimes you fly them in.
We do on
Yeah.
Wings of Rescue.
Yeah.
They have a Facebook page, which is really interesting, and they'll post where they're flying. They'll go to California, pick up animals from 13 shelters there.
Oh, wow.
Fly them into Coeur d'Alene or Feltzfield,
Sure.
other places around the country, and then the shelters there all gather and go pick up their animals.
Nice.
So it's a nice way to save
So how can
lives.
people who want to right now go and call or stop by later today, Spokanimal, that can adopt Yoda?
The best way is to go to Spokanimal. We're 710 North Napa, so right about Napa and Trent. And then you'll see Yoda and a lot of other kitties,
Okay.
plus dogs,
Right.
who are available for adoption. And you just you fill out some paperwork, have a little interview, make sure that it's going to be a good fit for you and
Absolutely.
your family.
Right.
Yoda is still a baby, so he's pretty spunky.
Yes. Probably not wanting little 2-year-olds to clunk him on the head and so
No.
forth. Yeah.
No, he needs to be watched and handled with care.
Okay.
While he's growing up.
I
But,
could feel him purring.
He
So-
purrs really,
Yeah.
really loud.
Yeah.
It's really great. He's a happy boy.
Yes.
And he has beautiful markings.
Yes.
Did you notice his face? He's really handsome.
Well, as you know, we're a cat family
I
at
know
home, so
it.
yeah.
I know, but
Well,
I'm going to
great.
have to take him back.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much, Francine. Good to see you.
welcome.
Thanks to all of our guests. This is Spokane Talks Live. We'll see you next Wednesday.
Spokane Talks Live is produced in Spokane, Washington by SpokaneTalksOnline.com, which is solely responsible for its content. To recommend a guest or topic and to watch or hear this program again, go to SpokaneTalksOnline.com. Join us next Wednesday at noon for an hour of great conversations on Spokane Talks Live.
Hi, this is Kent Adams, co-host of Business Talks. I'd like to introduce you to a couple of friends, Lisa and Alan Gwaltney of Window World. I've known Lisa and Alan for a number of years and know them to be honest and caring folks. They take pride in their windows, sliding doors, and blinds. So when it comes to your home, call them direct at 509-456-5880. That's Window World of Spokane and Coeur d'Alene. And if you tell them Kent sent me, they'll give you 5% off a 5-window installation. Call them today at 456-5880.